There's a certain kind of woman who moves through the world differently. You might not notice it right away because it doesn't announce itself. It shows up in small things. The way she pauses before answering a question. The way she doesn't feel the need to fill every silence. The way she seems comfortable being slightly out of step with everyone else. These aren't quirks for the sake of being different. They are the quiet fingerprints of a mind that thinks a little deeper than most. And today we're going to look at 10 of these strange, often misunderstood habits. The first habit is that she asks questions most people are too afraid to ask. Not to challenge others, not to prove a point, but because she genuinely wants to understand. She'll ask why something is true, not just accept that it is. In a world that often rewards quick agreement, this can make her seem difficult. In reality, she's just unwilling to nod along with things that don't make sense to her yet. The second habit is that she enjoys her own company more than people expect. She doesn't need constant social contact to feel alive. In fact, too much of it can drain her. She'll choose a quiet evening with a book or her own thoughts over a crowded room, not because she dislikes people, but because solitude is where her mind does its best work. It's in the quiet that she processes, reflects, and makes sense of the noise of the day. The third habit is that she overthinks, but not in the anxious, spiraling way people assume. Her overthinking is more like turning an idea over and over, examining it from every angle before she's satisfied. She'll replay a conversation not out of insecurity, but because she's trying to understand what was really being said beneath the words. This habit can look like worry from the outside, but it's really just a mind that refuses to settle for the surface. The fourth habit is that she's comfortable saying, "I don't know." This might sound small, but it's rare. Most people feel pressure to have an answer ready at all times. She doesn't. She understands that admitting uncertainty is not a weakness. It's actually a sign of confidence because she trusts that her worth isn't tied to always being right. The fifth habit is that she notices patterns before anyone else does. In conversations, in relationships, in the way people behave under pressure, she sees the threads connecting things long before they become obvious. This can make her seem intuitive, even a little unsettling to be around, because she'll gently point something out that others hadn't consciously registered yet. The sixth habit is that she doesn't chase validation. She's polite, she's warm, but she isn't desperate for approval. If someone disagrees with her, she doesn't immediately shrink or change her stance just to keep the peace. She's done the internal work of separating her sense of self from what others think of her, which frees her from a kind of anxiety many people carry, without even realizing it. The seventh habit is that she gets bored easily with small talk, not because she's arrogant, but because surface-level conversation doesn't nourish her the way deeper conversation does. She'd rather talk about what someone believes, what they've learned, what keeps them up at night, than talk about the weather. This is often mistaken for social awkwardness, when really it's just a hunger for meaning. The eighth habit is that she questions her own beliefs regularly. Most people build an identity out of their opinions and then defend that identity at all costs. She does the opposite. She treats her beliefs as tools, not treasures, useful until proven otherwise. If new information comes along that challenges what she thought she knew, she doesn't feel threatened. She feels curious. This willingness to be wrong is one of the clearest signs of real intelligence. The ninth habit is that she notices her own emotions without being ruled by them. She can feel frustrated, hurt, or disappointed. And instead of reacting instantly, she'll pause and ask herself why she's feeling this way. This isn't coldness, it's self-awareness. She understands that emotions carry information, and she'd rather listen to that information than be swept away by it. The 10th habit, and maybe the most telling one, is that she's kind without needing credit for it. She'll help someone quietly without announcing it, without needing anyone to know. Her kindness isn't a performance, It comes from a genuine understanding that everyone is fighting some kind of battle, and a little compassion goes a long way. This quiet generosity often goes unnoticed, simply because she never asked for anyone to notice it in the first place. If you look closely at these 10 habits, you'll notice they don't scream for attention. In a world that often equates intelligence with loud confidence or constant achievement, real depth tends to be quiet. It shows up in the way someone listens more than they speak, in the way they sit with discomfort instead of running from it, in the way they'd rather understand something fully than appear impressive in the moment. And maybe that's the real lesson here. Intelligence, especially the emotional kind, isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being honest with yourself, comfortable with uncertainty, and unwilling to trade authenticity for approval. These habits aren't strange because they're wrong. They're strange only because they go against a culture that often values noise over depth, speed over reflection, and certainty over curiosity. If any of these habits sound familiar to you, whether you see them in yourself or in someone you know, it might be worth sitting with that for a moment. Not everyone who thinks deeply gets recognized for it right away. Sometimes the quietest minds carry the most weight. And sometimes the people who ask the hardest questions are the ones who care the most about getting things right. So here's a small thought to carry with you. The world doesn't always reward quiet depth the way it rewards loud confidence. But that doesn't mean it matters any less if you've recognized some of these habits in your own life. Know that they're not flaws to fix. They're signs of a mind that refuses to settle for easy answers. If this resonated with you, take a moment to subscribe, so more reflections like this find their way to you. And if you saw yourself in even one of these habits, I'd love to hear which one hit closest to home. Leave it in the comments below.